Hello everybody, welcome back to Feldy, an app created by Farmer Yip for Farming Sim 11. Well, I'm just kind of looking at a field here. In between the last episode and this one, I've actually done a fair bit of work. There's two fields in here. Looks like we're on 14 and the one just south of it, number 20. Both of these had sugar beets in them. And I went ahead and harvested those off camera. It's pretty tedious having this little unit that we have to harvest root crops. So I really need to get to work modding or fixing some of the self-propelled root crop harvesters that are out there. I just went ahead and opted to do all this off cam. And silly me, I was somehow thinking there that we could sell sugar beets for cash on here to earn some money. And I even drove a trailer load of them clear down to the brewery, I think it is, only to discover it wouldn't accept it. And I should have checked in here first. Oops, I just went past it. So you look at the crops here: wheat, barley, canola, corn, eggs, milk, cattle, fleece, pigs, potato. I can take potato down there, but I can't take sugar beets. Well, come to find out, when you look at the manual, which, I've read, so I should have remembered this, there really only appears to be one purpose for sugar beets, and it's to make pig feed. And what I don't know yet is does it take sugar beets and feed stuff and biofuel, or will it take one or the other? If it has feed stuff in there, will that be sufficient, or does it need both? I guess I'm gonna see at some point just kind of how that works. But for kind of a setback to me, I guess I didn't have to harvest those fields, but I kind of want to clear them all, so I can just kind of keep the harvest going and deal with all of them at the same time. So I went ahead and I harvested both fields. Long and tedious process. And I just put it down in our pig feed mixer, kind of waiting for the input of biofuel and feed stuff as well. And in order to get feed stuff, we have to be able to get something out of either peas or red clover. And we do have a field of peas up there. I could easily take my windrower up there and cut it. But I don't have the means of picking it up at the moment. That's kind of what we're trying to save money for. And oh boy, I don't know how much money I would earn on bales. I've accumulated a whole bunch of straw in various places on the map. I'm half tempted to just take out some debt, buy a baler. But the trouble is, and I need to pick up the bales, and I don't have enough money to buy both a baler and the bale accumulator unit or what have you. So I'm kind of stuck. So maybe where I need to put my money is in picking up the feed stuff, because we have a mission, and just to re-familiarize yourself with it, we've done mission 1. We're still kind of stuck on mission 2. Up on Sheep Hill, the gate is open. We have sufficient biofuel, though we're going to start using it. But in order to open or to fulfill this mission, we need feed stuff up here. Red clover, peas, kind of what I just described. I can cut it, but I have no means to pick it up. And I need water. I think I could get water to them if I purchased a Bowser. I don't know if I have enough money to do that yet, but working on it. I was really hoping, I could come in here and harvest all these sugar beets. And it turns out I can't even sell them. I gotta turn them into feed, which is okay. I needed to do something with them at some point. But like I say, I'll really be curious to see if I need sugar beets as an input, because I gotta tell you, it's kind of painful harvesting with this unit that we have. So where I'm at currently, the combine is still kind of parked. what I do have over here is a field of potatoes. So I think these I'm going to get a start harvesting on and see if I can turn some of these into cash. And as for cash, and let me just hop in here. Crackle the thing open. As for cash, I have 15 right now, no debt, but yeah, I kind of think if I sell potatoes, if I look at this again, 400 per ton, so it's less even than the price of barley and wheat, which appear to have gone up a little bit. So, I seem to recall when I first played this back when I discovered the map that I made some decent money off potatoes, and I suppose if I harvest this whole doggone field, yeah, I'll earn something on it. And interestingly, if I just pop it back out here real quick, potatoes aren't used for any other process, so the only purpose of them, I think, would be to earn some cash money. So, which is exactly what we're going to try to do. So let me crank this thing up, and I always have difficulty trying to, maybe I need to zoom in and just get closer, because it seems like I'm invariably leaving product in the field. See there, I'm not getting close enough, but I really only have in this Bulco unit, it's right on the left hand side of the machine, you know, where it's barely gonna pick something up, so I can't hardly even drive my tires over the line, you know, if I want to pick it up. And truth be told, you know what, it's getting dark in here. 17:56, almost 1800, it's almost 6 p.m. And I think the reality of this, you know, we're on a south slope, excuse me, kind of south and east. So I believe that means the sun is going to set over there, and the light in the game is already falling. So yeah, it just makes for a little darker environment in here, although in most conventional farming sim maps, you know, they have this tendency to remain light a good portion of the day, including when night is approaching. Oh, I'm down in the oh, that stupid camera thing. If I turn on my lights, I'm afraid I'm going to end up. You please get me out of that. That is so doggone annoying. There, finally I escaped. I wish I knew what caused that. And here I am, it's like a glutton for punishment, trying to get on the field. I wish I knew what caused that to just zoom in like that. Because if I knew what it was, I for doggone sure would fix it. But I didn't. So for the moment, let me just try to harvest some spuds. I've been doing some more modding work. I know in the last episode, one of the things that I tried to share, maybe it was the episode before. Hello, get me out of there. Maybe it doesn't like being over the long edge here. Alright, I'm gonna head uphill. This is so steep. It's like I need to come in here and smooth this off or something. Maybe what I need is, I just wish I had enough money. I just don't have enough money to do jack. I'm gonna have to bite my tongue here and be patient. I mean, who am I to complain, right? This is just a silly game, but maybe what I need is a regular tractor to kind of help get out of the frustration of running with these Rabas, whatever they're called, which, you know, have kind of that articulation in the middle and force the camera down when you're driving, but I'm not even forcing it forward and back. So anyway, we'll just try to suffer ourselves along. Anyway, in the last episode or one of the previous, I talked about installing autopilot on one of the combines, actually on Farmer Yip's combine, one of the mods that came with the map. Oh, okay, good. We're getting lighter here up on top of this hill. That's handy. The sun still shines. And so I have a couple mods actually that had it in there, and if anybody's looked at my mod spreadsheet, one of them that I have is a swather, a I don't know how you say Fortschritt. I gotta be careful how that comes out. And it only could handle grass and dry grass, I think, cutting. So it's basically set up to be kind of a type of mower versus a true windrower, whereas the windrower that came with the map in here will cut peas, it'll cut the OSR, the oilseed rape, and it'll also cut the red clover. We haven't done any red clover yet in here. I have half a notion to do what I did last time and just kind of cut across the... Because if I don't do that, if I just dink around on these outside edges, I can't even get... I'm sure everybody sees some of the frustration. I know it isn't... you can't perfectly get every little bit, that's on a field. But I'm dependent on all this to feed my family, and I'm poor. Maybe what I'll do is venture across the field here. I have no idea if you'd do this in real life. I think in real life you'd be topping all this, and let me just try to at least get it 90 degrees. Can I get there? Drive across kind of like that. How about that? Yeah, I could drive a straight line. Where is GPS when you need it? Oop, I'm already at 88. And the hard part is this thing doesn't have a higher feature, so I have to manually drive this. So, in some of these others, when I install autopilot, actually I'm getting all ahead of myself. This windrower Fortschritt, it had autopilot on it, and it didn't work. And I got it to work by changing the indexing of where the parts are, but it still doesn't make sense. When I look at the model, it should be at index 32, but I have to put it at index 31 to work. Only somebody who's wrestled with XML and indexing before on mods would maybe understand kind of what the app means. It's just frustrating that it's off from what my eyes tell me it should be, but yet I can't argue the fact that it works. So anyway, I fixed that, so I don't have one of those operating right now, but I hope to at some point get one of those. I think it is a neat little mod. I like it, and in some ways it's more realistic than Farmer Yip's swather, which is quite a bit larger. So maybe at some point I'll get it working in here. I also set it up, with a specialty map, kind of like Feldy is, where you have a lot of new fruits installed to the map. Not every mod is just going to work with your map. So every mod that you bring in that isn't part of Farmer Yip's originals is going to have to be looked at carefully to make sure that they're set up properly so they'll work, with the map. Boy, this just doesn't seem realistic either. I am just smoking along at speed of 25 miles an hour. You would never dig this fast. But it's letting me do it, so... And what else do you do? I mean, when you have a little machine like this, I don't know about you guys, it comes back to one's playing style. I just can't imagine I'm going to get a whole lot of joy playing this by spending all my waking moments harvesting this hillside at, a half a meter at a time, digging out these spuds. Now, in real life, of course, maybe what you'd have to do, but I can't say that's my idea of a good time in game. It's like, help me make some progress, or let me have the ability to hire it to be done. So, and for whatever reason, this Bolco harvester doesn't have the hire capability. So just like I've modified, that is incredibly annoying. And it's also very steep. I think I went down too steep of a hill. Oops. Trying to see which angle helps me get the most bang for my buck, because it's so hard to see. You know, if I did this in cab, nope. See, here's some of the limitations of that. You can't even see your harvesting unit when you're in here. You can't really tell with where you're going. All you can see is your hands. Yeah, that's really helpful. So I kind of need to be out here, I guess. I guess what I'm saying is, if I drive on the right versus the left, you know, is there something that gives me better, yeah, see, without causing it to do that, you know, where I just have a bunch of skips. This is where a guy gets kind of stuck at the one speed doing that. It's like, I gotta be so careful. Top down, is that the way to do it? No, I'm just kind of coming along here. And if it can stay straight, that might be another thing too. But the moment you wiggle your line in here, you know, you kind of get off course, you don't pick it up, it starts to get different course on it. Oh, help us all. I'm probably making this guy on the back get dizzy. Just, what is he doing on there anyways, come to think of it? And he looks like he's just observing his hands, sitting there whistling Dixie. Actually, it's a pretty cool effect. It'd be even cooler if he was animated, but I think it's pretty neat that they at least have him on there. It reminds me of a mod, I think this was for Farm Sim 09, that I saw not too long ago, where it was a potato picker, and I think what it was is it was a trailer that you would pull through the field to harvest them, and it had several people standing outside of the trailer, and it's like these people would pick up the potatoes and chuck them in the wagon, or so your mind would tell you that they would be doing. You couldn't actually see them doing it. You know, I think Farm Sim 09 maybe had more limitations on what could be animated. But either that, or you had to really know what you were doing as a modder, and very few do, you know, when it comes to making animations, especially of people or of animals or that kind of thing. So, but I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was one way to do it. You know, it's like in the old days, you'd be haul the wagon out there and get Tom, Dick, and Harry to hired to help you pick all your spuds up off the ground, and it's like I don't even want to. Whoa! I don't even want to come up that side. I cannot drive with a hoot, and I am so tired of it zooming in. You know, something else that it could be that just comes to mind. The camera is designed, I think when it comes with the game, it's designed that when something is, a hard object is between you, like I'm up in the air here, so if a hard object was to come between me and the tractor down below, it would attempt to put me on the other side of the object that came between us. And maybe that doesn't make any sense, but there is a mod out there that turns that feature off. It's like a no zoom camera, or no close-up or no collision camera. I think that's kind of what it is. Usually I've resisted having a model like that in because I kind of like to be able to see, whatever machine I'm working on at all times. But I suppose one reason to put it in would be to get rid of this problem, that I've been having where it continually zooms in to the rear end of the tractor here and sometimes lingers there, and it just makes it very frustrating trying to see even, when you're driving. So maybe, something, let me just go see real quick, because I am curious now to see if I have one. No collision camera. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You know what? I'm going to take that, and it's going to mean I'm going to have to do a little bit more zooming. I'm going to put that in there so that the next time... Actually, you know what? I'm going to save this right here, and we're going to get out, and I'm going to come right back in. I'll be back in a moment. Alright folks, we're about ready to head back in. Let's pause to hear Farmer Yip.
Welcome to Feldy. Now get your butt out there and start farming.
Yes sir, we will. Hopefully everybody was able to hear that. Cycle through the equipment until we get her turned back on. Here we go, here we go. Alright. Let's see if that fixes our problem. I'm just gonna cross my fingers, as they say, that it will take care of it, and we'll see if it does. Actually, it's an MP, no collision camera. Hopefully it doesn't have to be a multiplayer game. But if it doesn't do it the entire time when we're in this, the rest of our session here, then I'll know that it will work. And you know what? So far, so good. It hasn't done it, and this is an area where it typically would. Actually, the area where it did it was kind of right up along here, right? Yeah. So let me just head on up over here. I will see if it zooms us in again. So far it is not, folks. Have we defeated the camera? You know what? I'm going to call that a win. I think we have done something here. Now, we're going to pay for it, or I'm going to pay for it, because like I say, my preference is that we can always see our tractor and what have you. So there's going to be times when I have to zoom in and manipulate the camera if there ever is something that comes between me and the tractor or whatever, but that's okay. We are zooming over the hill. I'm going to have to come back along. Oh, and there's another skip. See, that's why I just don't particularly care for this nifty little Bolco. I wish it was a whole lot wider. Yeah. We're not doing so hot here as we just zip around. And I'm pretty sure, I know there are potatoes growing in the area where, not exactly where I live, but in the other part of the state, if you will, in the eastern part of the state, probably 200-300 miles from here, where they grow that stuff. That they grow it in rows, and I don't think there's any of this round and round stuff. I mean, you'd be going back and forth kind of all day working on it. Actually, I'm almost loaded up. Oh, there's a skip. Blimey. I could drive. That would be helpful. But at least my camera is... Ooh, I don't want to go down there. is so steep. You know, that's the other part that I think of. When you grow a crop like potatoes, would you really farm it on land this steep? Maybe you would if you don't have any choice. I'm just thinking of the potato growing regions I'm familiar with. It is flat as a pancake, you know, when they're raising this kind of stuff. I think probably a lot is in part because of, you know, they're heavily irrigated and just a very intensive crop, or can be. And so the idea of putting, woo, belly. Okay, I am full. How exciting. And the thing is so narrow I can't even hardly find where I was. Alright. Let me go to my trailer. We are gonna go pick up a load. And once again, we have no fertilization there. So every single one of our yields is bottom of the barrel. I know I could have fertilized, but it's one little nod to realism I'm trying to do. Which is, you know, there's no way we'd be fertilizing this in real life. Look at it as it pours in. There's our spuds. Oh, how nice. Pouring sideways through the wall of the trailer. Just classic. So, that's probably not as nice as many of the animations that we'd have on more recent versions, but it'll do. It will have to do. Alright, we just scraped the rubber off the tires of that other tractor. Still skipping areas. And we're gonna try to come in here. So, you know, this potato picker here, the Bulco, the root harvester, whatever we want to call it, it has several scripts that it uses to do what it does, including the actual harvest of the root crops here. You know, a lot of times a harvester of some kind will use the combine script, for example, to perform the harvest function. And I'm wondering, you know, the self-propelled root crop harvesters, I'm kind of wondering if they utilize the combine script, but this one doesn't. You know, when they at least use the combine script, that kind of helps you from a modding perspective, because you know that if they use the combine, it's tied in with multiplayer stuff, it's tied in with every other script, you know, that the Giants use, you know, in the game to make it go. Including the hireable scripts, or the AI combine, AI tractor, and so forth. But when the modder writes their own scripts to do some of the basic harvest functions, I think what it means is it's probably going to be quite a bit more challenging to try to get this hired. But it sure seems like it should be feasible, because, you know, if tractors can hire, you know, having the cultivator, pulling a cultivator, well then, whoops, is this thing not on? How did it turn off? Beats me. So, I've already made some updates, do some mods in here, so it would just be par for the course if I attempted to put higher mode on this mod, and I don't know how hard that'll be or how much time it'll take, but maybe I'll give it a whack at it and see if it can be done, because then I can go do other things in the map instead of babysit this and do all the work. And once again, I know that comes down to each of our individual playing styles. Whew, that made me jump. And once again, probably anybody that's listened has heard many, many times the sound of the timer bell going. ringer, whatever it is, in the background. It's a... Right on? There we go. It was a gift to me from my friend Eustace Farmer, who passed away back in the end of January this year being 2023. And he gave it to me at one point because he actually told me to try to do 20-minute episodes for whatever reason. I've tried to make him half an hour. I don't know why. But anyway, he gave it to me. It's this little cow, and you wind it up, and I try to set it up for 30 minutes so I know when I can be done yakking for a particular episode and quit boring you all. So anyway, we are in the middle of a potato harvest, and probably what I'm going to do, because I can't imagine, well, I guess I don't know, maybe people don't mind watching a spud harvest, but I may try to do a bunch of this off-cam, just to try to build up some capital and try to keep this moving. But thank you so much for coming in here and spending a little bit of time with me. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will let you go until the next time.